Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I hope my voice is loud and clear. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Yes.
sir.
Good afternoon,
Yeah,
sir.
my name is Emmanuel Eko, and I am one of the leaders at NPM and also the lead facilitator for this session. Um, Apologies that I'm unable to put on my video. I have multiple screens, so it appears my system is picking one of my e- extension screen as my primary screen, and that screen doesn't have a camera. So I think that's what is happening, and that's why I'm unable to put on my camera. So pardon me, and I'll try and fix it, but I don't want to do that now, so it doesn't distort my settings. But I'll try and fix it. So pardon me. It's not like I don't want to put on my camera. It's just that I have a technical issue. So I just want to welcome us again to this session. Um, NPM, this mentoring session is organized by NPM. NPM stands for Network of Professionals for Missions. It's a network for professionals, like the acronym goes, a network for Christian professionals actually. And our primary goal is the three pillars of missions, which is to go, to give, to pray. And this aspect has to do with mentoring and discipling, because we believe that a Christian should be well-rounded spiritually, character-wise, should be excellent in the line of profession they decided to pursue, and that makes you a rounded Christian, and it kind of gives more strength to your weakness. What am I saying? If you're excellent at what you do, if you're excellent in your spirituality, your work with God, and you're not doing well at work, you know that something is missing in your Christian life, in your relationship, because you can't be an excellent Christian, not be excellent at what you do. The spirit of excellence should rub off on everything you do, whether it is physical or spiritual. That spirit of excellence should rub off on everything. And we believe that one way to actually master excellence is that we believe that excellence can be taught. There are some things that can be taught that can make you be an expert or excellent at that thing. And that's what this is about. The goal is to mentor young professionals so that they can be good at what they do. And when the time comes for you to minister Christ to somebody in your workplace, remember the goal is that, the understanding is that we are workplace evangelists. And whenever that opportunity comes up for you to minister Christ to somebody at your workplace or a colleague, maybe outside your workplace, your witness is stronger because it has been demonstrated, what you believe has been demonstrated in your work in terms of your character, the way you approach work, the way you treat your colleagues, the way you speak about your colleagues in the workplace, the way you speak about your bosses, even where the place is toxic and you are being mistreated, the way you handle those things, it makes your witnessing stronger when you share Christ with people, especially in your workplace. And this is very important because as professionals, we spend more time at work than in church, and that's the truth. Spend more time at work or in the workplace or with colleagues than at church. I mean, evangelism is not for the church place. Evangelism is for the marketplace, and our marketplace as professionals is outside the church. And this particular session is focused on young professionals. The target is that if we are able to get the right tools and equipping at the start of our career, then we're able to make better informed decisions about our career. Then down the line, we begin to see the fruits of those decisions we made based on information, the quality of information we got at the beginning of our career. So the essence of this session is to help us um, be equipped with the right information, the right resources, and the right tools to be able to make correct career decisions or to get into the career path we desire and we want to pursue. So that's basically what this is about. And again, I want to emphasize that this session is organized by NPM, and the series of sessions that we're going to be a part of is organized by NPM. And the lead member or the visionary of this ministry is Mr. Onesami. He's here, and he was the first voice you heard. I just want us to appreciate him by giving by just a round of applause. Can we just appreciate him? He's the visionary of this ministry, and it's because he has obeyed God. That's why we are all here. So I just want us to, you can use an icon or and just appreciate him for giving to the Lord and for his sacrifice. Without much ado, we want to quickly move into the session. We don't want to take much of our time. We're already 15 minutes into our time. Our speaker today is a pastor. She's a woman of God, and she is here today to speak to us about one of the themes of today's session. Actually, let me apologize. We planned to have two speakers today, but it didn't work as planned. So we'll just be having one speaker today. Hopefully, we'll make up for it in future sessions. So we have a speaker with us today. Her name is Joy Alabi-Hundeyin. I think I've shared her profile on the WhatsApp group before, but I'll just read it out. I mean, for sake of for sake of this for the sake of today's meeting, I'll just read out her profile. She's a pastor, so I'd like to emphasize that she's a woman of God. Maya, welcome. We are happy and pleased to have you in our midst. Pastor Joy Alabi-Hundeyin is a trained, and she's also married. Apologies for that. Mrs. Joy Alabi-Hundeyin. She's a pastor and she's trained seasoned people, optimization and talent resource practitioner with well over a decade in corporate experience. She's a licensed international senior human resource practitioner by the Human Resource Certification Institute of the United States, that's SPHRi, an associate member of the Charter Institution of Personnel Management of Nigeria, CIPMN, and got her confinement as a senior certified member of the Society of Human Resource Management, SHRM, in the year 2021. She currently works as the head people and organization at Apex Network Web Limited, a digital fintech service firm. She's also a principal partner at Page Solutions and Consulting, and sits as board of director to a number of startups in Nigeria. Joy Alabi-Hundeyin is a certified agile coach and fingerprint for success, and mentors many as a career coach. She's currently a sitting member of Business Leadership and Strategy Execution Class 2023 at the online cohort of Harvard Business School. So we are pleased to have her here. So before I hand over to her, I would just invite Mr. Onesami to take the opening prayer. Sorry that we are taking the opening prayer at this point, but Mr. Onesami, please can you take the opening prayer so I can hand over to our facilitator today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel, for that intro. That was concise and brief enough. It's appropriate for us to have opening prayer in this gathering. This is a Christian gathering. So, our Father, we thank you for this opportunity to be part of this initiative that you have led us into. And thank you, Father, because your counsel only will be done in this room this evening. In the name of Jesus, we ask
Amen.
that every man in this room key into your counsel for this program in the name of Jesus. We ask that you speak to every man in line with your will for their lives in the name of Jesus. We ask that you bring every man in line with your will and your counsel for their lives in the name of Jesus. We have prayed also for the speaker for today that you give our utterance to be impactful according to your will in the name of Jesus. For in Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Nusami. Pastor Ma, I'll hand over to you now. Please can we welcome our facilitator with a round of applause.
All right. Hello, everyone. Can we all see me?
Yes. Yes, we can.
All right, fantastic. So it's good to have you on the call. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Nosomi. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be able to share with you this evening on this session. All right. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel Echo, for the introduction. I see that we have about 9 participants here, so I'm glad to welcome you, Tammy, Paulinos, Elizabeth, Anthony. I think that's about the names I can see here. Ofuya, yeah. So welcome to the call, everyone. My name is Joy Alabi-Hundeyin. You're already. So can Anthony, I think that person is pinned to the call. So can we unpin the person?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so great. I'll dive in straight into the meeting. I'll dive in straight into the meeting, and while we go on to this meeting, I'd like you to keep the chat coming. So I like to have chats, but yeah, it makes it more engaging. You know the dilemma of virtual meetings. I can't see your faces. I can't see if somebody's sleeping off. I can't see if you're still following my line of thought. So I need you to speak with me, chat with me when we're talking so that I can be sure that you're getting me and we're still together. I really appreciate that. So please use chat box, use emojis, mentions, talks. I like to know that we're all together on this call. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. I don't know, for some reason I'm not able to share. Let me see my system settings. I'm using a new PC, so I don't know if
If you can just share your material with me, I can share with you. If you don't mind.
yeah, so I'll share the link to the material now, so you can share from here. That will work. Thank you. Okay, so it's not even my phone. I think we have more people joining, so it's good. Just give us about a minute more We'll sort this out. So
have you shared the file, ma?
I'm sending it to you right away to your WhatsApp. So you can, if you got it, you can just open it on the browser. It's a link. So sorry, apologies for that. I don't know why the system is refusing to share from my hand. But can you open it from your hand now?
I'm currently requesting access. I don't know if you got the request. Have you approved that, ma?
Yes, right now.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I don't. They approve. Just let me check my email first.
In the same vein. No, I'm missing my laptop.
Apologies. I think it's over there now.
Okay, perfect. So while we're getting that started, I would like to ask anyone, if, what do you think a career is? I mean, you've heard career. I mean, if you're here, somehow you've heard about career, you are intentional about it and you want to do it. So if you can drop on your on this chat box, what do you think a career is? What would you define career as? What have you always thought that a career is or should be? I would really appreciate if you can drop that on your on the chat box with everyone to see. Yes, I expect to start getting responses already. So did you get my questions? What do you think a career is? What have you always thought a career was? What's your simple definition of a career? Anyone at all, please. Go ahead. So yes, Mr. Nosami, just press share, and on that share you see present. So that will work for us. Yes, present. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. So I think we can all see the screen now. One's profession. Thank you. Peace said one's profession. All right. Yeah. I need one more response. Let's get one more response to know, what do you think? A place one stands in the corporate world. Interesting. Those are fascinating responses. All right. Okay, so I'm going to dive in. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. You were able to help save the day. I'll check into my system some other time. So yeah, straight on, developing yourself to get a successful career. I mean, this looks like a topic we're going to be talking about. If you're here already, meaning that you're already 1 foot in the right direction. And that's encouraging for me because you're going to get information that would prevent you from having unnecessary issues and difficulties when you start your career journey. Hopefully, you would get a lot of things here. Please let me mention again that during the session, you are free to ask questions. It's a mentoring class, so you can ask me questions. Even while we're talking, I would like it to be as engaging as possible, and so that we can all get the best of this session. So the next slide, please. So you already have an idea. Oh, okay. I think the next slide, is it the second slide?
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. So a career, I mean, the word career itself, it's from the word kairos, and kairos means chariot. It's a Greek word. You know, it says it's a metaphoric journey. It is defined as a progressive pattern of one's life in a direction. So I'm sure you must have heard things like, you know, work career, life career, business career. It's just, you know, career, it's that's what it means. A career is a person's progress or general course of action through life or through a phase of life as some profession or undertaking. It sourced from the word kairos, which is a Greek word to mean chariot. You know, and one of the most interesting part about this is that if you really, really understand what the word career is more about the progressive journey. You know, it is more about the progress than the destination. So let's say that, you know, let's say you are moving through a thing, because career itself, it's a long journey. It's a long term. You know, in the next slide, I'll talk about the difference between a career and a job. Career itself, it's a long term. It's something you're going to do for a long stretch of your life. So it is more about the process. This is more about how robust, how much you achieve, how much you're able to make out of that process. That is what really determines of a successful career. Of course, the destination still matters, but destination is very much attached to the process itself, to the progress itself, to how much you were able to, you know, get out of the journey. So it's more about the journey than the destination. So the next slide, please. Did we get that? So before we go on, I wanted to make a distinct difference between what a career is and what a job is. You know, a job is a position or a set of duties performed to earn money. It's something you're doing at a time. While a career is focused path or journey a person takes to meet their desired destination. So you could have, you know, I wrote it here that your career is a journey, but your job should be the various transportation vehicles you take that takes you on your way. So let's picture this. You want to go to, let's say you want to go to Kaduna, and you are in Ibadan or Oyo State. You could decide, okay, from your house, you first of all have to get a tricycle to the junction, yeah. Then after that, you have to board a cab to Lagos, and then maybe you have to get on a train down to Oshodi. Then you have to take a bus to the airport. Then you need to take a flight to Kaduna. Then when you get to Kaduna, you will need to get on a sea ferry, you know, to eventually get to your destination. I'm just saying there's no water body in Kaduna anyways. I don't think there is. So, but you see, your destination, you know, that journey itself is the career, but over the time, you had to take different means of transportation. So those are the jobs. So, but bearing in mind that the job you take has to be along the line of the career you're following through. Do you get it? You have to take, you know, so you're intentional about the jobs you take, because the job you take must be going the way of the career you want. You know, so your career and life vision is unique and evolving. It encompasses what you want to be doing holistically, from work to family to free time, and ultimately anchors your job search. Did you see the description there? So you're looking for a job, but you're looking for a job from the place of the career. Most of the time, when I have reasons to engage with people, I ask them, what do you really want to do? Even in some interviews, I ask, what exactly do you want to do? Especially for young professionals, I know that Nigeria is very interesting and there is always a rush to get a job, to earn money. I mean, when you leave school, maybe all your support systems are out and you need to start fending for yourself. You might just find yourself that, I just need to eat. I mean, I need to survive. I need to get a good job. And you see people just pick up something along the way. Of course, we cannot deny the fact that the pressure is there and you need to survive, but sometimes you would need to sit down, even if it's not at the very current job you're doing, and begin to find out, okay, so this job, is it in line with my career? Because your job is different from your career. Your career is a long stretch, and your job must align with the career you want to do. If you for instance, let's say you want to be, a project manager, and then your first job you got is a customer service job. I mean, for some reasons, it doesn't really align to that career. Of course, there's some deployable skills there. So, but you might be saying, but I need to do something. While you are sitting down at that customer service job, you might want to start asking, okay, in this space, are there things I can do around, event planning? Are there things I can do around project execution? Are there some CSRs we want to do in the business that I can involve myself in and help in the project execution? Because you have an end in mind. So that's what you're doing is not the job you want. You need to get a job in line with your career. But let's say you want to be a project manager, then you go ahead and you got a job, and the first job you got was a programs manager. It's still aligned. Why? Because if you're doing programs manager, you have the simple iteration of following through a process from start to finish, drafting out plans, managing people with the event. So those things are still a bit applicable. So even if peradventure you are not yet in that line, you've not gotten maybe a project assistant job or an event assistant job or something like that, you still can apply a programs manager or a program executive role is still in line. So let's say you have an option to pick between a customer service that will pay you 120,000 and a project intern that will pay you 80,000. For somebody that is career oriented, you will most likely go for the program executive. Why? Because you have a bigger vision in your heart. Because if you're not careful, the extra 30,000 naira could rob you of the future plans that, and the future goals. So your career and your life your career and life vision is unique and evolving. Like I said, it encompasses what you want to be doing from work to family to free time, and ultimately anchors your job search. I want to ask the question, are there anybody here that you feel like maybe sometimes you've actually been in that decision where you had to pick a job over a career path based on a lot of things? Anybody like that? Let me hear your experience. If you've ever been in that situation, or you feel like the job you're doing, you don't even understand any career path in it, or you actually have a career, in mind. I want us to have this conversation. Yeah, you have a career in mind. You already have a career in mind, and you feel like the job you're doing is along the side. So I've mentioned 3 situations right now. I mentioned a place where you feel like you have made a decision of putting, your job, a job offer over your career that you want to do, and why you felt you needed to do that. I mentioned a case of where, you feel like you're doing a job now and it doesn't even have a career progression at all, or you don't even see it along the line of career that you want to do. That means you've identified a career you want to do. And then the third one is, you actually are doing a job that you think sits with the career you want to do. Pardon, and I didn't get any response. Please, I'll wait for your responses. I need your response. Let me see anyone like that. responding? Did you get the question? Hello. Did anybody hear me?
Yes, we heard you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Temi, thank you. Temi said, I've had to take a job just so I could be doing something at the point and not jobless. Yeah, right. Thank you, Temi, for sharing. So this is life, this is real, this happens, where you had to get a job, but you know that you're not yet, in line with what you want to do. But Temi, have you really seen anything you're doing now that aligns with what you want to do in the future? What we're expecting any other question from others, So yeah, there are different cases like that. So your job is not necessarily, it's very different from your career. There are lots of jobs that does not have career prospects. And there are jobs that have career prospects. I believe, during the course of this mentoring, you will have clearer understanding about this. So we can move to the next slide. So like I mentioned that while you're preparing to get, to have a successful career, you must have this in mind, that a career is just like every other organism. It has its life cycle. And it's when you know this life cycle that you will be able to maximize the time. There are some times when it's latent, meaning that, please let's go back to the previous slide. Thank you so much. Meaning that, this particular time, you're not yet really involved with your career. Maybe the time like Temi right now that she's doing a job that, just because she wants to have something to do, but she has an idea. She has an idea of the career she wants to do in her mind, or the journey she wants to take in her career life. It's still latent. Then you have the time when you initiate it. Maybe when you start taking courses about it, you start doing you start taking experiences, you start getting information, or you start attending meetings like this, you're getting it initiated. Then you get a time of growth when you're actually progressing in that career, when you're actually having a headway, you're meeting your milestones. Then you get to maturity. Maturity is like when you get to the peak of the career, you're doing, every other person in your space, you're doing whatever they're doing at the peak of it. That's maturity, and then that maturity could lead to stagnancy, meaning that you've already reached the glass ceiling, so to say, in quotes. There is really no other new challenge or new level. Maybe you're even in a company that has a clear career pattern. You've already reached the senior associate, or managing director, or group director, or group head, whatever it is, and it looks like, okay, I've spent 30 years doing this, and here I am, I've gotten to that stage. And you see most of people cap here. It could lead to death, like I mentioned. It could lead to death, and some people reinvent. You find out something new, that you evolve, and that is the beauty of life. That is how you meet people that are exceptional. You just find out that, even when they've gotten to the peak of this thing, they just evolve into a totally, more amazing endeavor, and they go at it again. Somebody said, I was intentional. I had to take an internship of 15K because I wanted to build a career on a safety practitioner rather than a 40K office assistant role. Today, I can say the internship paid off, as I currently have a full-time job as a safety practitioner. I love this story. Thank you so much for sharing, Ofuya. Thank you so much. I mean, that is exactly what I was saying. I remember I have something similar to this. I had to take a detour in my life. I've evolved over, I'm transiting to my third career now. And when I was taking my second shift, it was a lot. I had to take pay cuts. I had to move from, another a state to another, do internship with training, with work at the same time to gather and shrink the time. It was stretchful. It was not fun, and then it was not reasonable. Sometimes it was not reasonable financially to me, to make that decision. But of course, I'm grateful that I did now. So that is what we mean by a job. A job is something that engages you. But one of the ways to ensure that you actually get to the place of success in your career is to make sure that the job that is engaging you is that one that will lead you to where you want to be in the career space. If it is not, it is always good for you to re-strategize. All right. So when you're having when you're going to a work and you don't think that it can be in the next 10 years, what you are doing now is going to be relevant to where you want to be in the next 10 years, then you know that you are in the wrong job. I think we should move to the next stage. That's where I have a lot to say. So now let's talk about choosing the right career for you. We talked about having a successful career. There's no how you want to have a successful career if you are even in the wrong one. So let's say that, like I mentioned here, you spend about 83,000 hours averagely. Every person spend about 83,000 hours averagely on their career. Averagely. So imagine you could spend more or less. So identifying the right career path for you is the very first step in the right direction. It's so important. And you could say that, okay, anybody could do any job, but not everybody could do any career. Reasonably, you can do any job. You might not like it. You might not be effective. You might struggle at it. You might learn, and all of that. But when you're doing a career, it's important to find a career that aligns with you. And okay, it looks like, okay, how? Like, is it not just about finding something that is profitable and doing it? What if I don't even have a choice? I left school and I got a job at Essex, and that's how I got myself into finance. You get cases like that, but here I'm trying to help you understand that there are careers that are best suited for you. And if for adventure you're here and you've not decided what career you want to do, or you're still in the stage where you're trying to identify which career you want to do, and you've not really made your absolute decisions about it, good, you're in the right space. So I'm going to walk you through some things that you could do to help you, identify the right career for you. There are lots of careers out there. With the world that we have now, there's so many careers coming up. And even, it's almost can be very confusing. You see some people today, they want to be content creators. The next day, they want to be web designers. The next week you speak with them, they want to be cloud optimization specialists. They are just all over the place. And you're like, hey, do you even get the point of what you want to do? So as a person, you have to understand which career you want to do. So let's take it a step at a time, all right? So I said self-assessment. So one of the first things you want to do to help yourself is to evaluate your personal strength. Every one of us on earth has things that we are good at, and some things that we're not entirely very good at. It could mean, speaking. It could mean, solving problems. It could mean going the extra mile, understanding people. It could mean being articulate. It could mean being good at sorting and organizing. You're just exceptional, with figures. You are very numerate. There's some things that just comes in, like, your aptitude, your interest, your inborn qualities, your inherent traits, things that you normally have a natural knack for. If you've not been able to identify it, you might want to listen and take a audit of what your friends have told you in the past, or what people have identified that you're good at. Just things that come naturally to you. Some people are great organizers, and they just love it. And when you find those kind of people, they go in and they become event managers, or they become, service managers, or they become, directors, in FMCGs or fast-paced organizations that require a lot of management by walking around and all of those things. You see that it's easy for them, unlike somebody that naturally might not be a person that is that is all over the place. So you want to take those assessments, you want to have those audits of what are my strengths, what are the things that I have natural knacks for, things that I can do, things that people have identified that I'm inclined to, or that I myself find myself doing without restraints, or things that I see that, it comes natural to me. So you want to know those personal strengths, you want to know those aptitudes, you want to know your interests, things that catches your fancy, things that you are constantly watching. Maybe some of you'd like to watch documentaries, or you are fascinated about cars, or products, or you're wondering how does fintech really works. You're the kind of person that is, your friends around you, when they want to ask questions about digital currencies, it's you they come to, or when people write things and you just feel like, oh, this thing is not well organized, I think you should have put it this way or put it that way. Or you're the kind of person that observe when you see a product and you're like, oh, they didn't do this thing where this button is not meant to be here. People just have this natural knack with you. You're interested in them. You have inborn qualities. Inborn qualities are characters. They're characters. Characters and attributes. Inherent traits. Inherent traits are things that you've identified. It flows with you. Maybe it was. Most of the time people say children of geniuses end up to be genius. Well, I don't know how true that is. If you believe it, I don't know. But maybe in your family, you guys are just good with mathematics. I don't know if there's anybody here that I've met people like that. You just say that this family, the mother is professor of mathematics, the father is something, then the children, when you speak with them, A1, A2. I don't know if anybody has been like that. Please chat. Let's drop comments on the chat. I really, really would like it to be engaging. I want to be sure that we are communicating. Yes, somebody said, are there assessments? Please help me note these questions now. I'll take them about the second to the last slides. So we could talk. Yes, so you have this personal audits, that you want to take to know if, I would address that question. Tammy, please remind me, I'll address it. But let me run through this training. So you have self-evaluation. Evaluation is about your previous your history. You want to check your academic trends. Thank God you went to school. You may not remember every other thing that you learned in school or whatever it is your chemistry teacher had to say, but at least you can remember the results you had, the courses that were easy for you and why, the things that you eventually particularly enjoyed doing, all of those things is an example of your academic trends. You want to see your sustained drive, meaning that things that you find that you can do for long, you can do consistently, you don't necessarily get bored with, attention span, your desires, then you want to do role mapping. So now here is you've been able to identify the things that you have natural strength for. You've identified the things that you have good aptitude at. You've identified the things that you have, inborn qualities for, you desire to do, you can do for long, all of those things. The next thing you want to do is identify the roles or the career that looks like it, meaning that you have to have an idea of several career paths. What are careers? Finance analyst, finance manager. You want to be an auditor, a tax specialist. We have Mr. Emmanuel here. He can mention, he can give you a large exposure on that other area, or you're the kind of person you want to go into more automobiles, product design, product marketing. You find yourself being a person that likes to deal with fashion. You want to be, a fashion advisor. You want to be a brand manager. You decide, you have different, you have it all lined out. I wrote here that like you find roles that align with your interest. Let me mention this here. So when you're looking into those roles, please make sure that you actually read those roles, because sometimes, the title of those roles don't exactly match with the qualities and the description. So when you're doing your own research on Google, you're checking, okay, what does a brand, what does a brand manager do? You make sure you do, a correlation with more than 3 or 4 slides, because different industries have different things they expect from a brand manager, and some people have the same name, the same job title for actual different roles and different careers. So you want to really, really read through and be sure that you're actually seeing what you're getting the right information. All right, so yeah, so I said here that you might have a list of 25 rules. I mean, you begin to tick them out. I wrote here that use a 3 ± 1 rule, meaning that you should not have less than 2 career options and more than 4. I mean, the best is for you to just pick out 3. So you could use, when you pick out those 3 that looks like you, that you match up with your qualities and the things that you have strength for, you feel like, okay, yes, you've gone through this job. Then you do a thorough job search that matches your interest. So now you start to look for the roles in those 3 jobs that looks like what you want to do. Thank God for the vast amount of resources on the internet. I mean, we're in a age where if you don't have information that you need, it's because you don't know where to look. So if you're having an issue checking that, one of the easiest ways to even do this is to go on career pages and check how people that are doing the things, the career that you feel like aligns with you, that you've identified, and read through their profile and see what their day-to-day in nature of their functions looks like. That way you're doing a thorough exploration. You're checking out those roles. Then use your career pattern metrics. So what I mean here is that, so when you're picking careers, one of the things you want to check out is so career pages. Yeah, career pages, you have Indeed, you have Glassdoor, you have Job Match, you have the popular one, LinkedIn. You can check those ones. You would see you have Job Homers, you have a lot. So at least I'm sure that one of the easiest ones for everybody to access this is LinkedIn. You could just go in and check out job manager, search it in people, bring out those people, check their profile, read through, and see and do a various edit of the things, their own journey, and then check the roles that they did, check the industry, if it's an industry of interest too. So that's where you can know if the job you want to do, it has the opportunities, it has the promotion plan. There's some jobs that they just have 2 or 3 steps and that's it. And when you're done, then you get to the stagnancy stage so early, you're just about 27. That's too early. Let's say you're just about 37. And then you're already at the tip of it and you're like, okay, so what next? And the trap of these highly specialized roles is that they pay well. So if you're not careful, you will just be there and that's it. So but you want to check the growth. That means how much of growth can you achieve in that, that part? How much of growth can you achieve on, because you're doing a bit of a audit here. So you are checking it alongside. So if I do this, okay, I can become this, I can become that, I can become this. So I can even diversify into this. You're doing that. So you're already using that to sieve out of the 3 ± 1 rule that you already have. That maybe 4 or 2. So you're using this metrics to see about. You are checking remuneration. So how well does it pay? You know, how valuable is this job role? You know, because you want to check if what you're investing your time is, even though it's going to be something you enjoy doing, it's going to be also worthwhile, right? So you want to check it and check the relevance. How deployable is this career? How deployable is it? Only this industry? Is it almost every industry that needs it? Because if something, if a career is very relevant, it means that you have higher opportunities. You have very large platter to choose from. So you want to check that. You want to check, okay, how relevant is this career? Is it only just, you know, manufacturing companies that need them, you know, or you have it in various places? You have it that in every industry. It is really, you know, it is necessary to have this particular career in it. Is it so relevant that even in the next 30 years, you know, it's still going to be relevant? Because, you know, the world of work is always changing now, and even in a faster space as in our days. So you want to check the career path you want to pick, how relevant it is now, and how relevant does it look like it's going to be. So you want to initiate. So now you've done all your research. Don't sit there. Don't just sit down. You want to initiate. You want to gather necessary trainings. So most of the time, the world now, people want, what are the examples? Okay, I've answered that. So most of the time, the world now, people want to have people on their spaces that have a bit of knowledge or training or experience in what they want to do. Even at the early stages, it will surprise you. So what you want to do for the current stage, ask yourself, which one can I get now? If I'm still looking for a relevant experience opportunity, can I go for the training? Can I get a mentor? Can I get myself into a group that converse about this? And there's a lot of people that want to be web developers, and they're like, oh, it's expensive to get a training to go and learn PHP Laravel. It's expensive to get a training to go and learn, you know, C++ or Golang or all of those languages. I'm like, okay, even if you don't have the money to invest in the big schools, do you have a laptop? Can you download and get a mentor and get somebody that would, you know, when you're trying or you're having issues, is going to push you? Can you go to YouTube and learn something and start it up yourself? We have vast number of self-taught developers in Nigeria. And although some of them are half-baked, some of them are not as good as they should, but some of them are excelling, so meaning that it's possible. So you want to check, how do I start now? How do I initiate this? You know, you want to get necessary experience, certifications, you know, along the chosen careers. So you see here, I mentioned careers, meaning that you should try with two, especially when you're starting, you know, have two in mind. So two relatable ones. Don't go and do two very diverse ones. Yeah, so you will narrow it down along the way. Yeah. So let's say you want to be a top, let me use one of the most deployable. So you want to be a very top JavaScript developer. When you're starting out, you shouldn't just do JavaScript. I mean, you should do Java and maybe you do a C#, you know, just join it together so that when you're going up, you now realize that actually C# is more deployable. You go in there, you know, because they are still close. So I'm not saying that maybe you go in and try to be a developer and at the same time be a content creator. It's very diverse. It doesn't require, in fact, the kind of attention, the kind of personality, the kind of involvement that it too requires is too diverse. So you want to have networks. So I mentioned here network. Make sure to make strategic relationships along the way. Upward relationship, sideways relationship, and downward relationship. This is very important. You know, so as you're going, the job, whatever job you're taking, leave good footprint wherever you go. Connect to people. don't isolate, keep those relationships. It's so important. As in this point is so important. It could be, it could be the deal breaker for you at very strategic times. So it's important to have network of people, network of like-minded people going along your way. And that's one of the reasons why, in fact, that's one of the benefits of career, associations. Like, so let's say you have an ICANN certificate, you could go for the ICANN meetings once in a while. Maybe you go for the annual conference, you get to meet people, or you're a member of projects. Central Institute of Project Management of Nigeria. You go for their departmental, their states meetings, you meet people, so it's important to create a network of people around you, regardless of the level. Like right now, you are in NPM. The reason why you have this is because maybe you got somebody that gave you this information, or you have directly connected to Mr. Nosomi and you saw his charts and all of that. So resources are always flying around in pockets of places. So depends on how connected you are, that's how you have access to those information. Sometimes what you need is just right on the phone of the person next to you. But if you don't have such relationships, you might not eventually get it. So you need to make sure that you're intentional about networks, you're intentional about relationships, and it's all around. So upward relationships, don't just focus on upward relationship as well. Make sure that you have good sideways relationships, because they will also still go up. And then make sure that you're intentional about your downward relationship as well as you go up the ladder, because people are amazing. You don't know where you're going to meet someone, and you don't know how important somebody's recommendation is going to be to you in your journey. So show expertise. So the next stage is that you show expertise. So when you begin to get into the maturity stage of your career, you want to be intentional to take on events, take on projects, or specific challenges that will show your expertise or command in your space. Like you could attend interviews, write articles, write publications, or you could create content, create a course on Coursera, go for meetings, all of those things, just so that people are aware of the value that you have, or the value that you're able to create, and how much of impact and import of what you do, of what you do, and how much of what you do that So and that will also expose you to how much of what you do that you need to know. So it's very important to show expertise. It's very important when you start to go in your career, especially when you get in between the growth and maturity stage, or you want to do that. So the next is pray. I said here that garnish every stage with prayer and the supernatural advantage of divine leadings. So this is a Christian platform. We can never downplay the place of divine leadings. It sets you, it's a leverage. So as a Christian professional, you want to make sure that you pray, because that way you are going to be able to get insights that others might not. I met some very interesting people, sometimes in 2021. And, when I was conversing with this person you most likely might even know him if I mention his name. He's doing a lot, in the finance space. And then I just asked him, this is someone, I just met him just randomly, and he was talking about how he spent 3 hours praying in tongues before he goes to sign a deal, and how, most of the time when he's writing a proposal in his house, he's having to play music song and just keep his spirit charged up. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's the cutting edge, So yeah, you want to deploy, the supernatural leverage you have in that regard. It's so important that you pray. All right, I think we should go to the next stage. Thank you. So here I addressed the right mindset towards having a successful career. And I call it CAB. It's career as a business. It's an ideology. I said career as a business ideology helps you attack your career as a business, setting you on an entrepreneurial drive in career advancement. You're constantly applying the input, process, and output mindset, understanding that value is only exchanged in the world of expected or inspired value. I'll explain that. Meaning that you are seeing your career just as though it is a business. That makes you understand that your career is only as valuable to others as much as the value they think they can get from it. It is also an exchange, just like every commerce. So the worth of whatever you're going to get from your career is the worth of what you've put into it. Then you must have the following in place to get yourself ready for a successful career. I mean, just like you will in every business. So let's go through this. You have career vision and mission. Yes, you should have a personal career vision and mission. I know this might look like, how far? Yes, you need to have a career vision and mission. How go on? You have to have career perspective. That's your value proposition. You have to have a career strategy. These are the things you set up early. Of course, you can modify them as you go on in life, but these are the things you set up as early as possible. You want to have a career plan, career trajectory, and milestones, career threats and pitfalls. You also want to have, I don't know, I can't see that last one very well. Anyway, I think I wrote there that principles and, yeah, thank you. Career principles and patterns, that's the power of your personal brand. That you want to talk about career goal assessment and appraisals. So these are the things that you hear a lot in the business space. You talk about business goals, revenue goals, sales growth goals, blah, blah, blah. You want to hear things about business strategy, business perspective, business vision and culture. Yes, any business that's going to succeed have to have these things in place. The same with any career that is going to succeed. Your career is a business. It's not everybody that is going to start up a business, like run a store or create a company or something. But your career is a business. And when you have that mindset, it helps you to get the best out of it. So let's talk about career vision and mission. Meaning that's on the next slide, please. I hope you're getting it.
Yes, ma.
Thank you. I'm glad to get that response. So create your personal vision and mission statement. Use your personal vision and mission statement to set the tone of your career direction and focus. It will help you support your career plans. Your personal vision statement can keep you focused on long-term goals and help you set realistic short-term goals, and are useful when you're pursuing job opportunities and leadership roles. For example, I want to be on board of companies. Now, that's a very big vision. Not totally very big, but it could be big when you're just starting out, because sorry, I think I'm reacting to something around here, but it's fine. So you want to have a vision. You want to have a vision of what you want to do. Let me give you an example. So let's say I want to be a serial entrepreneur. And I'm starting out a career in business development. That sounds funny, right? Your career is in business development, but you have a vision of being a serial entrepreneur support or serial entrepreneur manager. I mean, when you're doing that, you would, when you're picking up jobs, you're looking for jobs that have, different chains of products. You're more interested in entering large organizations, large industries. You are constantly looking forward to touching at least 4 or 5 industries in your career path. Maybe you have 10 years. You're like, okay, the first 2 years, I'm going to do it in, logistics and supply chain. I'm going to move into finance services, and I would like to go into manufacturing. Then most likely I'll do a bit of, oil and gas. Then the last one I'll touch upon technology. You're looking forward to that early in your career because you can easily move when you're starting up in career than, well, anyways, depends on which career you're doing. You could easily move when you're high in some careers and some when you're starting out, So I want to touch on all of that because why you want to have that vast experience, because you have a vision in mind. So even if you get to a place where you feel like, oh, this place is fine and they're promising you this and that, you want to know if it actually aligns with your own career vision and mission. I don't know if you get it. I think we get that, right? So you have to have that. It's like I said, it will help you stay focused on your long-term goals, and help you set realistic short-term goals. So let's say they want to make you, even when like, for example, they could offer you, you see a job senior role in your office and you might not apply for it because it doesn't go with your vision in the next 1 year. So you have that direction. If you don't have that direction, you'll be steered in all direction. If you don't have that vision, you'll be steered in all direction. So you want to have a clear vision and mission, for your career. Did we get that? I'm not getting any response. I'd like to know if you got that. Please drop a chat. Drop an emoji. Let me see if you're getting it. Thank you. Yes. Elizabeth said, yes, ma. Thank you so much. I'd like to know that you are. Yes, we did. Thank you. Okay. I want to be the most effective mission mobilizer in Africa. Then you know that you have to go for missions most of the time. You have to maybe partner with the other mission and go for their projects so that you can see what they're doing and what they're not doing, and learn from others as you improve on what you're doing. So yeah, I think we can go to the next slide. Yes, I did. Thank you, Dasola, Tammy, and Ofuya. So I talk about career perspective. This really defines how you want to be perceived. Know that your career is a continuum, regardless of which job, company, or role you are engaged. The career perspective that you have will follow you everywhere you go. It means like a type of your person. So let's say that, so career perspective simply means that, it shows the way you're perceived in your career. I don't know if any one of you have had a boss or, 2 bosses in the same field, but you feel like they have different vibes. Anybody here? It happens a lot. In my space, it's so rampant. You see people top HR leaders all over the world, and they have different vibes. They have different perspectives. Some of them come out as nice and easy. Some of them come out as going. Some of them come out intelligent and bossy. But they're all on the top space. They've all gotten to the peak of their careers, but they have different perspective around them. It affects how their general overall outlook. So that's what I'm talking about here. You have to be intentional about that, especially when you initiate your career and you're already going toward this growth. You have to, it helps your personal branding. When people think about you, they just think of you in a particular way. I mean, it's not everybody that is going to be all jivey and nice and wearing sneakers. There's some bosses that they wear jackets, they wear sneakers, they are the ones wearing the colored glasses. I don't know, some of you here, maybe some people, I don't want to mention names, that is how they come across. They come across as a nice, very approachable, ready to help your life kind of people, So you want to understand if that is what you want to look like. You want to understand that career perspective you want to have. So whatever career you're picking, you're constantly creating, atmospheres around it to make it look that way. It's intentional. That's why you see a boss that will have a bowl of sweet and chewing gum on their table, and then the back of their laptop is pink, you know. They just come across to you as, hey, yeah, the life fire. But they are very serious, they are very intentional. They just want to keep that kind of perspective. So because it also helps them to stand out. And standing out in career is so important to success. It's one of the things that makes you distinct from every other person. So if an industry is looking for, let's say, for example, now I want to start the kind of HR, I'm using my space now, the kind of senior HR person that a company like let me use Nigerian companies, a company like, let's say Traction, or let me not even use Traction because you might not know Traction, but there are different kind of vibes that different companies are looking for that aligns with their own company culture. So when they're looking for that person, it's easy for you to stand out because you've identified that this is the kind of person you are. This is the kind of person that is easy for you. This is the kind of person that you want to be, and you've projected it constantly in your career perspective. For example, I don't think ever that I want to work in a hospitality industry because it doesn't just suit my person. I like it quiet. I like it intentional. I like it, professionally inclined all the time. I like it that way. But I know some people that they like it to be, outgoing. They're the kind of persons that they want to take their team on tours every three months. They just like it that way. They're still excelling. They want to be in those industries. So you have to know the perspective you want. This part is not commonly spoken. I think most of the time people address it in personal brands, creating your personal brand. But it is not just in, the way you dress. It is in everything, taking from the way you write, the way you I don't know if you've read some people's articles. They are just simple, sophisticated, easy to understand. And you read some people's articles, they are fun. The way they even start up the chat is all fun. It's all interesting, engaging. That is the brand they're pushing. There are some people you read the article is all detailed, finesse, no extras, just right on point, and straight to the point. And, so it's, you have to keep that personality. You have to keep that perspective. You will be be dedicated to it, and then it will be associated with you. Do we get it? Okay, somebody said, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I'd like to know if you got that part, because it's a very interesting part. Did we get it? I'm expecting your responses. Yes, ma'am, thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you did. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you did. I am really, really glad you did. So let's go to the next one. So now I talk about career strategy. Yeah, I lumped it all up because there's so much there. I didn't want to do too much. Just give you the needs that you need to start. So when you have a career strategy includes your appraisals, your plan, your principle, and your pattern of actions. So like I mentioned here, when your career strategy, like every business, you should have a career strategy, meaning that you're thinking about what you want to achieve, you're planning on how you want to achieve them. And when you talk about career planning is, like I said, you have to set SMART goals, have career targets, have career milestones. So you could have career planners. There are softwares that you could use. If you don't have a software, you can use your diary. Just set this one to this one. I want to do this, blah, 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 do this. This is how I know I've done this. You can get an accountable partner or a mentor or a friend. You can set someone as your motivative point. Yeah, we need these things. Yeah. So be intentional. So don't just leave anything to chances. Don't just leave it to chances at all. Be intentional about it. So set those plans. Save up money, because it's when you have set those plans, you will know what you should be spending on and what you should not be spending on. You know what to prioritize. If your friend is doing wedding, you'll be like, I'm writing an exam next month, or I plan I'm going to write the exam in 3 months, and I need to save this particular amount. So I'm sorry, I'll not be able to buy the SHRM-SCP. Just give me the gilly. You know, you are going to be able to be very intentional, you know, on how you want to get those things done. So you have it clear. You should actually set down to sit on what you want to achieve. In a year, in fact, a year is too far. In every 3 months, you should be able to know the target of what you have achieved, even if it's just one course. What you have achieved towards the career plan you have, and tick it. You know, it's part of the career appraisals. You are assessing each milestone to check, you know, if you did not hit your milestones, you are setting back to know what was the thing that made it happen and learn forward. You have to be very, very, in fact, for career, you have to be very intentional. I don't know how many more minutes I have. Please, I don't mind if you could just send a message to me, Mr. Emmanuel Okpa, I think. Please, I don't know if you can send a direct message to me on the chat to let me know how much of the time I still have, you know. So you have to have principles. Yeah, so career principles they are your boundaries. They make your personality, your belief, they make your belief visible. Especially as Christians, not even just as Christians, as human beings, everybody have their principles. So it determines the kind of industry you might work in or not, or the kind of companies you might work with or not, or the kind of projects you might take or not. Because you know, some projects, if you take it, you need to do magu-magu, or if you don't want to do magu-magu, so you will not take it. You know, all of those things. So yes, so you have to set your own principles. You know, it's not like you write the principles on, you know, on your profile head, like you go Joy Alabi-Hundeyin honest, no cut corners, you know, no, that's not what I mean. But you have it set in your own mind, you have written it down, you always evaluate it alongside when you're doing your appraisals. And eventually with time, people will begin to note it with you, you know. So you want to have a pattern of action. So when I mean pattern of actions is that you want to have you know, personal development, improvement and learning built into your work lifestyle. You know, I used to work with a boss one time. Every of our Wednesdays were dedicated to learning. We all knew this so much that we don't disturb her on Wednesdays. I mean, she attends to just important things and board and senior management inquiries. On Wednesdays, she is dedicated to learning. And I'm talking about someone that was already almost reaching the peak of her career at that time. But she's been doing that over and over. So it was not like she wasn't working. She was working, but the learning she was doing was part of work. And it helped the company better because she had better solutions. So, and you know, I took a cue from her and I decided that every week I will spend at least 3 hours learning. I mean, that is all I'm doing those 3 hours. I'm just learning something new about my space. I'm just diving in, I'm researching. You know, it will get more and more as you grow up because there's more you need to learn as you grow in your career space and the demands on you get bigger, you know. But you want to have that pattern of actions where you're constantly improving. If there's anything that would help you to be a success the most in life or in your career space, is to always improve better than you were yesterday. You're your own challenge, you are your own, what do you call it? You are the one chasing yourself. So just, you have to keep it up. Like if you wrote a mail yesterday, you should write it better today. Like if you made a presentation yesterday, you should make it better today, meaning that you're constantly self-evaluating. So what are the things that I didn't do well here? Okay, so this is what I should have done better. You know, you're constantly doing that. So you will make personal improvement, you know, your own pattern of actions. so much more that it becomes habits. It becomes what you do. It becomes a pattern with you, you know. So all of these things are what will help you in getting to that success. I think I mentioned about the plans already, you know. So, everyday job has its own demands. If you don't have a plan of what you plan to achieve, you might just get distracted and say that you've been doing the same cycle over and over and over, and you've not taken a projectile out. If something is going like, you have to be intentional to take a projectile out of it, to break the cycle and maybe get into a bigger cycle. Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm almost done. I didn't know I've spoken for 1 hour. So sorry, I hope it's been a worthwhile of your time. All right, so I think I'll go to the last slide. I'm pretty much done. So in conclusion, in pursuit of a successful career, one must start with a mindset of success, a gusto of determination, equipped with necessary informations. So first of all, when you're going to career, don't go dead on arrival. Don't just be passive. Go with the mindset that you actually are going to succeed at it. Why? Because there's something in you that the world can benefit from. All you need to do is make sure that you're ready to find that thing and fan it to flames. All right, then you have to be determined, because career is not easy. It's going to take a toll. It's going to be demanding. I know most of the people on my audience list might be Gen Zs, and you don't like to hear this, but career is not fun. You will not always have fun bosses. You will not always have fun working time. You will need to pay the dues. You will need to go the extra mile. So be determined to, iron it through. Be equipped with the right information. I'm glad you're already in this call. Pardon, thank you. So, you have to make those decisions to, have the right informations. Go for the right informations all the time. Be inquisitive. Make sure that you're constantly learning from your space. You're not living in the gray areas. Some people are in some industries or careers, and they don't even know the things that is happening in that space. It's just, I don't know. I don't think that's being responsible. So when you're in career, you have to look at the things you're doing. You have to constantly get the right information, subscribe to the right channels, get the newsletters, read through them, make sure that you're updated, set clear targets. Prepare for success and failures. Yes. It's all part of the journey. Plan to succeed. But when it happens that you fail, know that it's part of success as well. Have an entrepreneurial mindset, meaning be value creation minded. Whatever career you're doing, make sure that it's creating value. Make sure that you're constantly valuable. Make sure that you are given the best value. It is when you are that you would be able to request premium remuneration on that space. For the space I sit, one of the things that could be a bit dissatisfying to hear is when an underperformer that I'm already thinking of looking for how to exit them is asking me for improving pay. Can you just focus on the right thing? All the things you're getting assessment and you're not getting the right assessment. You are seeing it on your dashboard. You're not asking me questions like, how can I improve on myself? What can I do better? What are the things that you will suggest that I use to improve on these things that I've been found as lacking? Oh, this is what I'm doing now. You're thinking, it's already 1 year. Am I going to get pay review? The person will say, okay, yes, you get pay review, and you're already on your way out in their minds, So value, it's a universal currency. Everybody understands value. So be that person. Keep your eyes on the goal. Don't get distracted. Keep your eyes on the goal. Be determined to achieve what you want to achieve. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Stop when you have achieved what you want to achieve. Not, I've done my best. No, is your best the best? If it's not the best, then it's not yet your best. You can do better. So look at it. Look at the best that you maybe had not done and work at it. Know that you are a success. So in this journey, don't ever forget that you are a success. Even when everything around you does not look like it. Maybe, but when you are a success from your mind, you know that you are a success. You'll be able to bring out from who you are to what you're actually experiencing. So don't get discouraged. If you get discouraged in your heart, you won't have the enough tenacity and strength to push through. So know that you're a success. It's something you can do. Identify your personal edge, that what makes you special. That's extra thing that you are, that will set you apart. That's your perspective. That's your personality. Understand your gaps and lacks. The things that you need to work on, to double on. One of the best things you could do for yourself in career is to self-evaluate consistently. Self-evaluate. Think about it. Think about what you're doing. Think about what others in your space are doing. It helps you to stay innovative. It helps you to stay improving. And that way you won't become obsolete. You won't be archaic. You won't become monotonous, or you won't dwindle. Why? Because you're constantly putting yourself on the edge of knowing, evaluating yourself against your previous benchmarks. Build good networks. Build good networks. This is like a summary. Build good networks. Have the right relationship. Meet people. When you meet people, keep the relationship. Don't go souring, strategic relationships with careless friendship. Know the people that you are meant to be friends with, that you can chat with, and those people that you only converse with when it's important. I tell you, if you want to keep relationships, especially upward relationships, don't sour it with unnecessary chatting. Before the person just goes block you up, so you want to be intentional. You want to know how to manage different relationships. What is required to keep some relationships going? Stay agile and prioritize your goal. What I mean by stay agile is that even when you're planning, even when you have goals, be smart enough to know when those goals are no more, and when the end point has been pushed forward, or when those goals are no more relevant, and you need to change them, because we are in a very fast evolving world. So you need to know when the professional exam you wanted to get, is no more as relevant, and there's another one that has come to top the space. You need to know where you should stop doing Scrum Master. Because somebody uses Scrum Master again now. Sorry if you're planning to do that. You need to know when you need to know what is happening. You need to stay agile. You need to stay flexible. You need to stay intentional and prioritize your goals. So I put here some books to help you get started. I know that this meeting, even though it's about an hour, cannot do the whole work of helping your mind. But these are some books that I read and really helped me. And I know it will help you. If you can read them, maybe you've read some, but at least read all. At least read 4 if we can read all. The Rule of Work. That book is amazing. I still have it on my shelf. Read through it. It's like a secret book. Never Eat Alone. Start with Why, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Everybody in this world should read that book. A Whole New Mind. It's amazing. One of the books that will shift your mind about innovation, about staying personally innovative. Eat That Frog. It tells you, in summary, even with the way it is, go at it. be an execution. Everybody is looking for someone who knows how to get results, someone who knows how to get things done. Nobody really like excuses. So even for yourself, don't give yourself the excuse of not progressing, of not doing the things that you need to do. Sometimes we excuse ourselves too much. Or the reason why I'm not doing this is because I don't have the money, is because I don't do that, is that, blah, 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 blah. No. So I just put it here, I feel like you get these books and read them, and I'm sure they will really help you. I've come to the end of my session, and I hope that you've got one or two things. I would really like to hear from you, the things that you learned personally, the light bulb moments for you, the things that came across to you as very personal and you're going to apply. I want us to please begin to drop the responses on the chat group, the live chat. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you. I'd like to know if you learned anything personally, or in one sentence or two, just that thing that you can remember right now that you got from this session.
Wow. That was amazing. Thank you very much, Ma. Despite the fact that you needed to get some rest, you still had this amazing delivery. This is profound. So you can go ahead and drop what blessed you and what came home to you, and let's get the room buzzing. I want to let you know that you will still have the opportunity to interact with Pastor Mrs. Joy Hundeyin. And while the session was going on, we also had the privilege of having Pastor SPHRi, the husband of the facilitator, join the meeting. I don't know if we can just quickly appreciate him and celebrate him. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us this evening for this session. We appreciate you. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for being part of this matter. Okay, Teddy said my aha moment was the part of career as a business. It's really put things into perspective. Wow, be business minded, make profit out of your career, and that was profound for me also. Every business wants to really make profit. So if you treat your career as a business, you will definitely make. Ofuya said, thank you for the insightful session. I learned that a career pursuit is an intentional process and should never be left to chance. Whatever you leave to chance, you cannot control the outcome, but when you deliberate and you're intentional about the process, the likelihood that the outcome that you desire, will be gotten is very high, and when you then garnish that your intentionality with prayers, then it is almost sure that you will get the desired outcome. So thank you very much once again, Pastor Mrs. Joy Hundeyin, for this powerful session. Before we release you, I just want to quickly check with one or two people. If you have any question in the room, you can just go ahead, unmute your mic, and then ask the question very briefly. But while you are still, before we start taking the live question, I don't know if Pastor Mrs. Joy Hundeyin can just quickly help us attend to two questions that we had during the conversation, during the presentation. The first question is, are there assessments or tests one can take to identify these attributes that speaks to the best career options for you? Hello, ma. Are you there, ma?
Yes, absolutely. There are, so there are things that you could use there. So there are personality tests that you could take. I know of 16 personality tests. I know of the 360 evaluation test. These things are online. I was just trying to Google and give you the link. But yes, so there are some websites you could go to help you assess this, and personality test. In fact, some jobs they send it to you alongside your aptitude test, just to get an idea of your personality. I don't know if anybody here has experienced something like that. But because everyone knows that there are some roles that, you know, your personality would actually empower or help you to succeed at. It's just like that, you know. So most of the time people want to check it, and also to check it if it fits with their culture. So, but yes, there are softwares you could use, you know, and you could do a personal, you know, a friendship informal survey. You know, you could do that as well, to help you know a bit of how you come across to people, because most of the times we are not aware of how we come across, you know, to others or even to ourselves. So you might want to do that with others, giving you the feedback. Well, most importantly, there are softwares that you can use. If you go online and you do personality test links, you see it. Of course, they will not help you to map it out with your, you know, with your role designs or preferred careers. You would have to do that by yourself. So I'm not sure I got a second question. Please, can you help me reiterate?
I'm actually yet to ask the second question, so I will do that just now. Okay.
But I hope the first question is clear to the person that asked.
Yes, I think it was clear. The person is interested in getting some assessments that could possibly point towards some career options, you know, and you've rightly answered that they are publicly available information. You know, if you can just Google some career tests and personality tests, you know, you will find a lot of resources to help you with that. So the second question said, what are the types of career? You know, because the jobs are plenty, you know, somebody you can say payable officer, cost accountant, storekeeper, you know, jobs are plenty. So what are the type of career options that are available?
Okay, of course, I would like to mention that it's also online. You can have this online, but I would help you shed a bit of light. You know, let me bring this to an example. I was speaking with someone, you know, I think yesterday or so. So our job role is a particular, they call it something agent. Whereas what she does exactly looks like a sales executive work. And sales is a career path. Being a sales and marketing personnel, it's a career path. But there is no career path to being an agent. So the job title is very funny, but the job is deployable. Why? Because it has a clear career path. She can, from the job she's doing, she can be a business relationship manager, and she can also be a sales manager or a sales or product, a product sales manager, meaning that she can actually market a particular product. So for example, maybe you work with Unilever, they have different products. They have different sales managers for each of those products. And it's a big career path. I mean, pharmaceutical companies, it's a very clear career path. You know, but you could have a job that even maybe the person that even coined out the job, they just know the thing that they want to achieve and they just named it funny. If you are not aware, so that was the reason why you have to come to meetings like this, you know, or have conversations, you know, with the right people. If you're not aware of what you're doing, you will not even know the career in it. A lot of people that, let me even bring it down home. So let's say you worked in your mommy's shop. So your mommy has markets. She has a shop in Eco. And for a year, you were the one managing the market. Now you feel like, what's the career path in this one, right? Okay, so there are various career paths in that. Being a business unit manager is a big deal. You would have to talk about the accounting, general bookkeeping, the customer management, relationship management. You're checking product and sales. You're taking inventories. You know, in all of those things, there are clear career paths in it. Let's not say she now have like 3 or 4 stores. In fact, you're a district manager on your own, because most of people do as district manager. That's just it. All you need to do now is to advance yourself to get the necessary skills to apply that into the corporate space. So there are different jobs, like you rightly said, but careers are clear. There are careers are, one of the easiest ways to identify careers is to look at people that have achieved it. Like, just look at the people in their career space, people that are professionally attractive to you, and look at what they do. Then you understand what careers are. I mean, you see people that are maybe task consultants, that's a career. You see somebody that is a plastic surgeon, that's a career. You see somebody that it's you know, it's a brands manager or brand specialist, like someone like Leke Elder, that's a career. You know, you see people that are architects, that's a career. You know, you see somebody that it's they are, you know, products diverse, they diversify products, they are business leaders, that's a career. You see people that are management consultants, that's a career. You know, so, and in all of these spaces, for example, let's say you started out, you went to do data science learning, and then you know how to use SPSS, and then somehow you help some or 2 or 3 businesses analyze their data and all of that. You know, that's already in line, a little bit, it's already in line with what some of them do at management consulting. You know, some people have, maybe you've were able to forecast, you know, the money your mommy gave you 200K to restock her shop, while you know, you're able to get 100%, 120% above the goods, you know, you needed. Why? Because you're able to get good deals. That's negotiation, that's budget management. You know, those are things that you need in the core business operation spaces. That's a career that leads straight to CEO. So there are different career paths, you know. So there are different jobs as well, but you need to identify what career is aligned with the job you're doing. I don't know if that helps you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much, Ma, for that response. I think it's spot on. You know, jobs are more kind of task oriented, you know, while career is more long-term value-adding futuristic engagement, you know, like that. Thank you very much for that insight. I'm not sure if you have any other question in the room. If you have any question, can you just raise up your hand, and we would like to take that. But while we're taking that, while we're doing that, let me just do some housekeeping. You know, first I would like to mention that throughout the course of these 3 weeks, you know, interaction, you have opportunity to interact with the faculty and ask questions anytime you want to ask questions. Let me also mention that if you know of a friend, of a colleague, or of anybody that is still interested in joining this semester, you know, we have gotten permission from the admin desk to extend the registration for this semester for additional 1 week. So before Saturday, people will still have opportunity to join this semester. So if you have friends and colleagues that you also believe we get value from this interaction, you can do well by forwarding the registration link to them and get them onboarded for this. So let me quickly check if I think we don't have any other question in the room. Let's just appreciate our facilitator for today, and we'll release that. Thank you very much, Mark. God bless you. Thank you for that powerful, wonderful, insightful session, you know, and thank you. We look forward to having you over and over again. Okay. Thank you, Mark. You can now take your exit if you wish to. Thank you. So let me just continue the housekeeping. You know, this is NPM Mentor, and our objective is pretty straightforward. Mr. Emmanuel Echo, at the beginning of the session, emphasized the objective of the session. You know, is an offshoot. NPM Mentor is an offshoot of Network of Professionals Formations, an organization that aggregates Christian professionals to the end that we are critical and will facilitate the sponsoring of the gospel to the ends of the earth. You know, and one of the ways we believe objectively, you know, to really get started is to invade the corporate space, with the gospel, not necessarily as a nuisance, but more strategically by delivering exceptional results and also living the life of Christ in the corporate space. Every member of this network, we believe that we are workplace evangelists. Wherever we find ourselves in the corporate workplace, we know that we are there because of Christ, and we want to show Christ to people. We want our lives to be so attractive that people naturally, gravitate towards us and ask relevant questions on how they can also achieve superior results like we are getting, and that's why we are investing time in mentoring believers on how to be exceptional at work, and also how to exhibit a Christian virtue whenever they find themselves in opportunity to do that. So this semester has started. We will continue our class on Saturday, and let's be punctual. Let's remind our colleagues to be part of the session. Let's attempt to, action some of the recommendations that the facilitators have given us today. Those books that were listed, we will try as much as possible to get the soft copies of those books. I think we've already, dropped one on the page. Start with why. We will look at others and see the opportunity of sharing them on the platform so we can go through them and also further equip ourselves for this learning. At the very last session of this semester, we have the privilege to have all the faculty in the room where we'll be having a Q&A session, and you have the opportunity to ask any other question that you were unable to ask during each of the class session. So this semester also, administratively, we typically appoint, a class rep, a class governor that will assist to, interact with the rest of the participants and let us get the room buzzing, with insightful thoughts, materials that can really help us chart a successful career. So today we discuss developing a successful career path, other topics that we still have in line, the ABC of acting and acing an interview, interview acts. We still have purpose and career alignment. So how do I distinguish between purpose and career? Is there a marriage between both? We still have a lot of topics, and I think you have the publicity material. Familiarize yourself with those material and get yourself prepared to really get all the value that the program has been designed to give to the participants. At the end of this program, we hope that we'll have specific testimonies on how transformative this contact and interaction has been for every one of us. So for time, I would love to say thank you everyone for joining today's class. Our class continues 3 p.m. on Saturday, the punctual, and we'd love to see everyone. Thank you. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye. The conversation continues on the classroom page on WhatsApp. Bye-bye.